Hello, folks. Hope you're doing all right. Welcome to Stay Well with Dr. Zorba Pastor.
And that is me.
He's right there.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm going to sing again.
Please do.
Da, 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 da. Can I keep it to you? Maybe. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
Had a nice little finish there.
Thank you.
I'm Carl Christensen. I'm sitting across the desk from the one and only Dr.
Zorba Pastor.
He still knows his name. That's amazing.
That's right. The podcast.
Yeah, we're doing it, right?
Absolutely.
We're doing it. Yeah. So you're wearing a Packers hat, by the way. I never called that out.
Packers hat and
A Wisconsin Badgers half-zip fleece.
That's right. Yeah, I got the whole thing.
That's nice.
It's my
you're
state.
Covered on both
state.
fronts.
I got it, baby.
You love it.
I got it, baby.
Let's talk about our show. We're going to look at the drop in health alerts from the CDC, and it's raising concerns for some doctors.
Totally.
We used to get more, and now we're not getting as many.
We used to get good information. Now we're getting half a cup or a third of a cup. We'll talk about that.
Talk about it. All right, we'll get to some listener emails and a voicemail. We'll hear from the grammar cops. You're going to help out a caller, and my mom's going to deliver one of her mom jokes.
That's right. Her famous
infamous mom jokes.
And famous, that's right. I like the way you just moved your head. It's like famous. It was like famous.
Emphasis.
Why did you? It was emphasis.
Emphasis on famous.
Of course, it's your mom.
She's famous now. Yeah. I feel like people stop her on the street and say,
and
I've
they
heard
go,
the
mom
podcast.
Jokes. Yeah.
Tell me a mom joke.
Yeah, that's right. That's what they do.
All right. Phone number to call anytime if you have a question for the
in
good
the grocery store.
Yeah.
That's right. No matter where she goes. Where does she live?
She lives in Minneapolis.
Yeah. So they stop her in the grocery store.
Yeah. Tell me a joke.
Or at the bar. She doesn't
go to many bars. No. She no. Grocery store sounds right. Or the library or somewhere. Something like that. Here. This is the phone number you can call anytime. If you have a question for the good doc over there, 608-492-9292.
Or email us at askdrzorba@gmail.com. And remember the website, drzorba.org. Lots of good information, lots of ways to actually interact with us. And, of course, we have our Facebook page.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's kick off today's healthy living topic. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, typically sends out dozens of health alerts per year. But this year, we're seeing much less of them. What's going on, Zorba?
Well...
Where do you begin, right?
First of all, a lot of people in CDC left.
Yeah.
You don't have institutional memory. Why did they leave? They were either told to leave or forced to leave or pushed to leave, or they were loaded with rubbish and say, you have to publish this rubbish. And that's because the anti-vaxxers have the ball right now. And so a lot of scientifically based people had to leave. Others, believe it or not, at the CDC are getting paid to do nothing. In other words, they're getting paid, and they're basically told not to give out information. So we're in a strange time. However, what do? So the CDC basically would come out with alarms. We're worried about this, worried about influenza epidemic here. We're worried about measles coming out over there. So we've got an answer, and the answer is this: we've got 50 states. We have lots of people in lots of states who are in the health department that are not under federal control because we have basically a government that has state control and federal control. And so the early warning system from the CDC is kaput. Okay. They're going to come up with some things. But the answer is for state health officials to get together and correspond with each other. And then if there's a major epidemic or outbreak that comes out, to basically pass the word. Now, I want to give you something that's really very interesting. Gossip.
Okay.
Gossip works, right? Think about it. You're smiling right now.
Yeah.
When people say one thing and they say, hey, so-and-so is not talking about it, what's the first thing they do?
What?
They tell it to other people.
I was blank there. Sorry.
They tell it. You're never blank.
I know.
They tell it to other people. If they say, so-and-so isn't talking about this, the first thing they do is they talk about it and pass it on.
Right.
That's the way health information has to come out at this point.
Okay, I see what you're doing.
You have somebody in the state of Wisconsin. Sorry, I was making a little bit.
No, that's okay. I definitely blanked out there for a second.
But I like the fact that you even blanked out of a gossip because I gave you something that has nothing to do with science. But basically, if the state of Minnesota and the state of Wisconsin, the state of Nevada, the state of Utah, the health commissioners, and all these states are very interested, get together and they develop a consortium to give information, even if it's like upper Midwest, Southwest, then they will actually give information and come out. And that information can actually be spread out, and we don't have to depend on the CDC. In other words, we can actually do it ourselves, and we can do it so the federal government, which should be coming out with the information, we can actually spread the information. So as you know, there's a measles outbreak in Wisconsin.
Yeah, and a lot of other states.
That's right, and a lot of other states. Don't you think they're sharing the information so we now know there are measles outbreaks? The state of Wisconsin, I can't remember the last time before this that there was a measles outbreak, but it was decades ago.
Right.
And why is it? Because if you look at 50 states, what do you think number one and number two is in terms of childhood immunizations? Take a guess.
Number one, you've asked me this before, and I always forget. But I remember it is it's not what you think, right?
It's Mississippi and West Virginia.
Right.
And Wisconsin
as the highest, right?
Has the highest rate
Vaccinations.
of childhood vaccination rates. And Wisconsin is number 49.
That's
number
amazing.
49.
Yeah.
The state of Wisconsin. Why is there? We're going to talk about that at a future podcast. We're not going to go into it now, but it's 49. So the state of Wisconsin, for instance, that has a measles outbreak, has to do a better job.
Right.
There's no measles outbreak right now in Mississippi and West Virginia because they did a better job. So the state health commissioners have to get together, spread the information, because we cannot depend on the CDC and the federal government to do this. And it may turn out that this will develop a more robust system of actually spreading information from one state to another, because as Tip O'Neill used to say, all politics is local, and the same is true for all health information. It's local too.
If you have a question for the good doc, you can call the hotline anytime. The podcast hotline, 608-492. Love the hotline. 608-492-9292.
And in the winter, it's always good to have a hotline versus a cold line.
Yeah, we don't have a cold line.
Or a closed line. There are a lot of different lines.
There's a lot of lines.
I'm done with lines.
You're done with
you
lines.
can also email me at askdrzorba@gmail.com. Spell it out, Ask Dr. Zorba. If you can spell, you can write it, and gmail.com. And then, of course, we have the website, drzorba.org. So,
all right, let's go to the phones. Let's try to help out a caller in Choctaw, Oklahoma. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. Very good. How's the barbecue there, by the way?
You love talking about barbecue.
We have fabulous barbecue. Absolutely the best in the world.
I know. I've been to Oklahoma City a couple of times, went to steakhouse, and you can just smell the barbecue. I mean, I've got this image where I just walk down the street, and all of a sudden I smell, and I love good barbecue. And even thinking about it makes me want barbecue at all.
We have quite a variety. At one time, it was probably the most common restaurant, I think, probably marijuana houses now outnumber them. But other than that,
they go together well, though, don't they?
Yeah,
they go together. Yeah. We know what you do first,
get some
and what you do
munchies,
second,
and then you barbecue.
That's right. First you smoke, or take a gummy, and then you go see.
Yeah.
So how can we help you? I've got a photo here. Tell me a little bit about this, Rash.
I am a 75-year-old woman.
My God, you don't sound like a day over 40. You don't.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that a lot. Well, I spend a lot of time gardening. I'm really very active.
Super.
And about a year ago, I started with this little spot on the inside of my ankle, about the size of a quarter, and then it got bigger, and it's just kind of grown. And it's not really a rash with bumps or anything. It's kind of under the skin. Sometimes it's warm. Other times, like in the middle of the night, I'll get a stinging sensation, and then it goes away. But I'm just curious about what it is or what I've done to cause it.
Sure. Well, first of all, so it's been there. Have you put anything on it? Anything over the counter on it at all?
Nope.
Okay.
Not really,
haven't put anything on it. So you said you do a lot of gardening. So you're around leaves and things like that. Because when you garden, do they have weeds in Oklahoma?
Oh, yes, we have plenty of weeds. The bane of my existence.
That's right. They are. That's exactly right. You know, a weed, I have a really good friend. Her name was Amy. She's a gardener. And she always said, a weed is but a wildflower yet to be discovered. And I thought,
absolutely.
That's
A weed is anything that's in your yard that you don't want to be there.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. And you discover it and then you get rid of it. So first of all, the most likely cause of this is something that you may have touched that you then have. It's not necessarily an allergy, but it's the fact that it produces an irritation within the skin. So it's an inflammation. A true allergy, a complete allergy, would be something that might have bumps on it, like you said, it would be more itchy. If it were poison ivy, you would know what it is. This does not look anything like.
I've had plenty of poison ivy. Yes,
well, then you know what that looks like, and
I do.
And you know what that feels like. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So, it's a dermatitis of some sort, which is flat, probably plant related. And the first thing that I always start out with this is, first of all, if somebody comes into me and it's smaller and they say they have it, I'll say, and if they garden, I'll say, number one, take all your gardening clothes, put it in the washing machine, regular cycle, wash it, because it may be on your clothes. In other words, because when you're in the garden, you got all that stuff on your clothes, and the irritant may be on your clothes. That's number one. Number two, do you use gloves when you pull those weeds?
Yes, I do.
So wash the gloves.
I'm very, very good about that.
You want to wash the gloves. Then the next step is you start with over-the-counter hydrocortisone, which is a very, very low dose, incredibly low dose. And that may get rid of this because you it's grown in size, probably because you may have spread it. And then if not, then you have to go to a prescription strength. And for that, you got to call your clinician, to be able to get the prescription strength. And what I usually go with is something called TMC, triamcinolone. T as in Tom, M as in Mary, C as in cock-a-doodle-doo.
Really? That's where you went for C?
I was trying to come up with C with complimentary, but that could be
I like cock-a-doodle-doo.
Hey, cock-a-doodle-doo. Did you like that?
I liked it.
I came out with that.
Remember that.
I just came up with that. But triamcinolone cream is a very common cream that your clinician can then give you to get rid of this. It's not going to bother. If it doesn't bother you, you don't have to get rid of it. But I would do the over-the-counter hydrocortisone cream. And it most likely came from your garden, probably from one of those weeds that you pulled.
Yeah. Probably. There's all sorts of weird things out here in this acreage. Yeah, okay.
That's exactly.
All right, well, I will certainly try that, and it has been a delight talking to you. I've listened to your show way back when Tom was there.
Oh, wow.
The last 20 or 25 years.
That's right. Oh, my God. When you were 50.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And I think Carl has been a wonderful addition, and you two are just delightful to listen to. I laugh right along with you.
Thank you so much.
That's really nice.
And thanks so much for listening to the podcast. We have a certain age, because I'm 78, you're 75. You're my junior. We were not brought up with podcasts. We're brought up with transistor radios when they finally came out and were expensive. And then we may have done a Walkman or two. But, podcasts are of a different genre. And if you look from an age-related point of view, podcasts have become very popular. And they are popular. And they're another way to get information. So you are ahead of the curve by listening to the podcast. So thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for returning my call. I appreciate it.
Okay. You take care now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for that call. You can call anytime if you have a question.
Anytime.
608-492-9292.
And believe it or not, I will not answer the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning.
No.
But I might answer the email, because sometimes I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I can't.
Checking your email?
Well, if I'm up and I'm really wide awake, sometimes I go down. Yeah, do I check my email? Yeah, sometimes I do that.
You do.
Just to trying to go to sleep. And, but I'm getting his boring advertisements. Ask Dr. Zorba at gmail.com. Ask Dr. Zorba at gmail.com. And the website, drzorba.org. Okay, Carl, it's no secret that you and I both love coffee, and we often talk about its health benefits on this podcast. And I've been drinking Just Coffee Cooperative for years, and I love their Bike Fuel blend.
And I love their Humdinger blend. Just Coffee is certified B Corp, which means they went through a rigorous assessment to measure their impact on workers, community, environment, customers, and company structure.
Use code ZORBA10 for 10% off your entire order on their website, www.justcoffee.coop. Just Coffee Cooperative. Justice from the grounds up.
Let's take one of those emails now. This is from Mary, who writes, "Thanks for your article and podcast about the new food pyramid. My husband is diabetic and was told red meat inhibits the uptake of glucose into red blood cells. This diet from the new food pyramid..."
Sorry. Red meat. Okay, go ahead.
This diet from the new food pyramid would ruin his A1C values. We also eat more meatless meals, but get a lot of protein from legumes. Any thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, it's better to get protein from a more vegetarian diet is healthier. And I don't agree with the new food pyramid that we should start eating more red meat. I don't think that's a good idea. It's mostly saturated fat. I don't think it really interferes with glucose uptake, but it certainly is a risk factor for cardiovascular disease. We're not going to go back to the 50s, it's a meat and potatoes diet. I think there's some good things in the food pyramid, talking about getting rid of industrialized food, basically ultra-processed food, which is industrialized. I think that's a good thing. But I think he's right that if you're a diabetic, you're much better off getting your protein from legumes, much more. And if not, then from fish, and then, of course, then from chicken, and then from beef. I think that should be sort of the stepwise state that you could look at. And I think, food pyramid, if you look at it, it's an upside-down pyramid now. It's sort of more like a triangle, than a pyramid. Who looks at that?
I don't know.
It looks too
we
complex.
did do the podcast,
however,
but I don't know.
However, that impacts on food lunches, what goes into senior centers and other things, and impacts on basically what food companies have to provide, provide to our children in school. So I think that really does make a difference. When we look from a meat point of view, you want to look at, if you're going to have beef, if you're going to have that, beef, pork, and chicken. Chicken is the best. Pork may be in between. Beef is the least in terms of having it. But an occasional steak is okay. It's just you don't want to have ground beef every day. You don't want to be one of those 5% of the people who go to McDonald's once a week or twice a week. Okay. That's a lot of people. And they're not eating salads.
No.
I wonder what percentage. We've got to look it up.
Yeah.
I wonder what percentage of their takeout is salads. What do you think?
Let's look for future podcasts. 4 or 5%. I don't know.
That's going to be my guess. Yeah. We'll find out. Yeah. We'll do it on we don't look at anything while we're doing this. We're doing this on the fly.
Right.
So you can look at I'm right now on your iPhone, but we're going to look it up later.
Let's do another food pyramid related question. This came from Facebook from Marissa, who writes, "Zorba, what are your thoughts on the affordability of eating according to this new food pyramid?"
Well, it does cost more money.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Because processed food is cheaper.
Right.
Twinkies are cheaper. Twinkies are cheaper than fresh fruit.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, that's what it is. But first of all, if you have a certain amount of money to spend on food, half of all the food that is purchased in America is food that is prepared by somebody else.
Right.
In other words, half of all the food is like when you go to the store and you buy something. I looked at my small town in Oregon, and there are 27 places where you can buy prepared food. They're not 27 fast food restaurants, but if you look at the food that you can buy in the grocery store, you can buy at a convenience store and everything else, it's prepared food. Prepared food generally is ultra-processed food, not all of it. And the reason it's ultra-processed is it lasts longer on the shelf. You can save money by cooking yourself, and you can save money by making sure that you buy just enough food that you eat, because Americans throw out a tremendous amount of perishables. They perish. So if you buy it 3 times a week, you're going to have some wonderful fruits and veggies that are going to last longer. So use your healthcare dollar, your food dollar, in a way that makes sense to you, and you can still eat well without spending too much extra money.
Have a healthy living question for the good doc? Just post on our Facebook page, email askdrzorba@gmail.com, or call the show anytime at 608-492-9292. Okay, Zorba, how do I set up my mom's jokes? I don't have a way to set it up. Should I just play her new mom joke that she has? Or do you want to say something?
Got to play the music.
Got to play the music? The music?
You know what? You can set it up and say, okay, Carl, Tom from Mom Jokes. Not my mom, your mom.
Mom jokes.
What did Yo-Yo Ma say when Cameron Crowe asked him to do the soundtrack for Jerry Maguire? You had me at cello.
I think there's a lot in that one. Have you seen Jerry Maguire, the Tom Cruise movie?
Of course.
A while ago,
Of
right?
course. Yeah,
Wasn't
of
the big
course.
line, you had me at hello?
Yeah, he said, you had me at
So
hello.
now we're
That's
talking
right.
about Yo-Yo
Actually,
Ma.
when you said that, I have the image of his saying that, you know?
Really?
That's how good it was. I've got the image of him saying that. I picture him saying that, but I can't picture her.
No.
The her he said that to.
Yeah.
Do you remember who that is?
Oh, what's the actress's name?
Well,
I
we don't
totally
have to.
forgot.
You don't remember either.
No,
but,
I don't.
But you
She's
can,
famous. I mean,
But
she's
you
big.
can picture him saying, you had me at hello.
Yeah.
That's
Was it
right.
Renee Zellweger?
That's right.
Is that maybe who it
Maybe,
was?
I don't know. You
Maybe?
know something? I am not.
We don't have the laptop
I'm not
in front of
taking,
us, right?
I'm not taking the bait. Thank you,
had
Mom.
me at cello.
Thank you, Mom.
Let's do a listener question now. And if you have a question, you can email the show, askdrzorba@gmail.com. This is from Rose, who writes, "Hi, Dr. Zorba. I've loved your show for many years.
Thank you.
And I'm glad
Thank
you
you.
are still, quote, on air." Is a podcast on the air?
Yes, of course.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
It's on the air.
It's in the air. I feel like it's just everywhere. I've developed a hiccup reaction to drinking wine and beer.
Oh.
It's unusual and worrisome because there's a family history of colon cancer, kidney stones, and gallstones with my sister and my grandparents. I've had 2 colonoscopies with good results, minor polyps, and I'm not due for another 3 years. Insurance will not pay for any testing at this time. I'm a 57-year-old school teacher who plays a lot of tennis and hikes. I have asthma, IBS, and ragweed pollen allergies most of my life, for which I currently take, here comes a bunch of stuff, Dupixent, Dupixent, Bentyl, Dulera, Nasonex, and over-the-counter famotidine, Omeprazole, and Zyrtec.
Oh, actually, she's taking everything.
There's a lot.
So first of all, hiccups can be caused by irritation. She's taking everything.
Okay.
She's taking antihistamine type medications and then something called an H2 blocker. She might also try a PPI, which is like Prilosec, which she can take in the morning. And if not, that's about it. It doesn't mean she's going to get any kind of a cancer. It means basically she's got, it's really not an irritation. It's a histamine response if you end up having hiccuping. And I guess you have to go to NA beer.
Okay.
And NA wine, which, by the way, I find disgusting. NA beer tastes really good. There's some
I've
NA
never
beers
had
that are
non-alcoholic wine.
It's terrible.
But the beers have
It's
gotten
awful.
so much
the
better.
beers have gotten better.
Yeah.
And you have to stay away from alcohol. You can't drink it. Or, I mean, because she's taking everything. Quite often, famotidine and or an antihistamine will do the difference. Some people have also said an aspirin taken in the morning can make a difference with that too. But if not, hey, you're doing everything you can possibly do, except become abstinent.
Okay, Zorba, it's time for your favorite jingle, I think.
Jingle.
It's time for a visit from the Grammar Cops.
We got a grammar situation here. Grab a cop!
That is my favorite. I feel like
I was
they're
right.
ready. I want to get in the car. That's right. They're in a car,
Yeah.
like the Keystone Cops.
Keystone Cops.
You don't know who the Keystone Cops
I
are.
don't. I've heard that, but I just forget who
The
they are.
Keystone Cops were a bunch of cops. It was black and white. Okay, they were silent films, and they were going after bad guys, and they were bumping into each other. It was comedy.
Oh.
So you should look up Keystone Cops on YouTube.
I'll check it out.
Educate yourself.
I should. I really need to. And actually, Zorba, this comes from the CBD Cops. I've definitely not heard
The
from them
CBD
before.
Cops. No,
CBD.
I have not heard from them before.
This is from Matt. This is an email we got.
Okay, Matt.
Matt
Go for it.
writes,
Go for
first,
it.
thanks so much for continuing the show on the new podcast.
Thank you.
Besides just
Thank you.
enjoying you, Carl, and listeners, there's too much misinformation out there, and this show is needed. That's a nice start, Matt.
Thank
You
you.
talked recently about a study involving the use of CBD and the alarming liver tests results from a good percentage of the participants.
A percentage.
Yeah, a percentage. Did you notice the amount of CBD that was given to these participants
Large amounts.
was extremely large?
That's right. That
Much
is
more
correct.
than a person would normally take, says Matt.
Maybe.
It was based on
Some
body
people.
weight.
Right.
Some people. Matt says it was based on body weight, but an average participant took 400 milligrams per day. However, the average CBD gummy contains 10 to 20 milligrams, much less.
Right.
It would seem this study result doesn't answer safety questions or concerns of a typical CBD user who takes maybe 20 to 30 milligrams per day. Could you elaborate further on this? Thank you.
Well, I think it raises a flag, and I'll tell you why. So the typical person will say, let's look at alcohol. So a person may drink a drink a day or 2 drinks a day. Well, for some people, that's actually too much for the liver. And for a lot of people, that's not too much for the liver. So I think the study was useful to discuss. And it was useful, the fact that I think we even discussed that they were large amounts. And I think it just raises a flag that CBD may like any medication, have side effects that you should be aware of so you can determine whether or not you're actually going to take this drug on a regular basis. That's it.
Okay.
Also, it may be an issue for people who are drinking, we'll say, 4 to 6 drinks a day, alcohol, or people who are on medications that may raise the issue with liver function, such as anti-inflammatory drugs. So in other words, we've got to look at it as something that is, you have to look at it as not something that is totally benign, but may be somewhat benign and somewhat okay. Just like Tylenol, you can take small doses of Tylenol, 2,000 milligrams a day. Most people can take it. Some people can take 4,000 milligrams a day. But people who are alcoholics who take 8 to 10,000 milligrams a day, that's too much. So it raises a flag. He brings up a very good point, though. Dosage may make a difference, and it may make a difference to the people who take it who may have other risk factors.
All right, Zorba, we got to wrap this one up. What did we learn today? We learned about health alerts from the CDC. We're getting less of them.
Very important that the states stand up, because the federal government isn't doing the alerts, but the state health commissioners can get together and do it without the feds.
Yep. You helped out a caller who got a rash gardening.
That's right.
Probably,
that's right.
most likely from gardening.
Most
we
likely.
talked about the food pyramid. We heard a mom joke about Yo-Yo Ma and his cello. We talked about Hiccups and the CBD cops paid us a visit.
That's right.
That's always nice to hear from them.
The CBD cops. Yeah. That's right.
Anyways, that's the end of this show.
That is the end of the show. So remember, you can always call us at 608-492-9292. Email me at askdrzorba@gmail.com. Spell it out, askdrzorba@gmail.com. The website, drzorba.org. And don't forget to stay well.